what I experienced with the gateway tapes if you don't have the tapes to experience it yourself. Wave 3, freedom number 1, or in chronological order, tape 13. The liftoff exercise. We have finally made it to wave 3. And I wanted to read you kind of an expectation of what wave 3 is, or the freedom exercises that we're about ready to do. So it says freedom provides you with exercises specifically developed to make the methods for perceiving your non-physical energy a comfortable and joyous experience. It then goes on to talk about out-of-body experiences, or OBEs. And it's supposed to help you distinguish between thought and intent. I think furthermore in the manual, he goes on to say that since thought is so tied to a habit, when and if you do an out-of-body experience, that it might be hard for someone to differentiate, am I thinking this or is this really happening? During the freedom exercises, we're supposed to learn the process and the techniques associated with out-of-body experiences. These are gonna help us distinguish the energies between the non-energy body or the non-physical body and the physical body and what the differences are. And it's interesting, in the manual it says, perceiving the separation between these energies, physical and non-physical energies, is a major step in learning more about your personal makeup in addition to learning about how to induce OBEs. Another cool thing that I realized, I don't know what tape it was, but I shared with you guys, I don't really know why he wants me to move my right fingers and say 1 and all this stuff, like it wasn't coming together when we were learning that. I think it was like tape 4 or something. And it's because when you do an out-of-body experience, that if you get spooked in any way, saying 1 and moving the fingers on your right hand, it's called the C-1 or the C-1, I'm not sure, C1 maybe, exercise. And it's supposed to bring you and ground you and bring you back. So the liftoff exercise is to help one become comfortable with the perspective, I believe, of physical and non-physical energy bodies. It says that going back to the reball or the energy balloon where the energy comes out and circles around you from the top of your head to the bottom of your feet, and then also the spiral energy around you, that is the main part of the liftoff process. So I'm really glad that I understood all those really elementary exercises because they do continue to build on each other. So he has you go in to that state of creating a balloon around you. One thing I wanted to mention, I got really confused. You never know, is he gonna cold start? Is he gonna tell you what to do? He does tell you to do the preparatory process, but I felt like, oh crap, I'm not hearing the chanting, which is usually a cue, which is the resonant tuning. And so I did my energy conversion box, putting all my issues and whatnot into the box. And then I was like, okay, tick, tick. Like I was like, oh crap, is it wave 3 doesn't have chanting maybe? So then I started doing my whole process, and I swear it was like so long, like 4 or 5 minutes. And he started doing the chanting. So I thought that was a little weird. I'm not sure why that was such an extended time. After you're done and you're in focus 10, he meets you there. And then that's when you start with, you start to imagine or maybe perceive floating in a balloon or your energy ball, your reball, as he calls it, and floating in there and lifting up. And then he has you come back down, and then he has you float up. And how I was thinking of it was like, at first I didn't really know what he meant. So I just kind of like pretended like I was floating in my room. And then he has you come back down to where you were, which I'm not quite clear on. So I kind of just hovered above my body and my imagination. And then I went up to my rooftop of my house. And then he has you come back down and settle back. And then he goes even higher. So then I thought of like the treetops. And he has you do that. I think it was 3 times. My purpose is to have your awareness in the reball or the energy ball, and have your awareness sitting in there as you perceive it detaching from your physical body. And he says this is supposed to be fairly difficult to understand. And in the manual, he says to do this one over and over and over until you're very, very comfortable with this exercise. So we're in it for the long haul. This one's gonna be an exercise I talk about a lot, I think. He does say, so this one, you know, obviously I didn't feel like I was floating up in air, but he says, thus liftoff offers you something very important, that perspective. So I think it's about perspective and not actual physical, like you're feeling an out-of-body experience or that you are actually floating, but it's the perspective of you separating from your physical body and having your awareness outside of you. Just to confirm why I'm going to be doing this one over several times, it says, use this exercise until it is very familiar to you. You will also find that it provides the assurance of your ability to return safely and easily. Once you're secure with this knowledge, it's quite easy to move away further than the exercise provides. I'm thinking further than the treetops of my house. And then I like this, it says have fun. And I think that's like kind of a theme, like everybody takes this so seriously and that it's could be spooky or there's a lot of fears around it between, like I've said, addressed entities, CIA, you know, using these exercises and it ruining your life, that you just need to have fun. And that's always my intent going into this. So I have no fear, and what fear I may have, I put in my energy conversion box to kind of clean it and get that out of the way. Another thing that this has me thinking, now I've done 13 of the tapes several times, and these meditations are tricky. And so be very weary of people saying that the gateway experience caused X. If they got through, and nobody is ever claiming that they do the whole process, if they got through the first, 1, 3, 4 tapes and they're saying they are experiencing other worlds, I just don't see how that's possible, that it was caused by the gateway experience. Now, maybe they're just getting clicks and it's clickbait, but also if they did do some sort of thing, I don't know if it's actually the gateway experience, because we're just now getting into how to do this. So it's making me pause and all the advice and stuff that I've been looking at. Did those person really do this or do that? So now I'm not saying everybody's lying, but if they actually did experience something outside of themselves, I don't think that's the gateway experience. I think that's some sort of meditative state, playing around a little bit in realms that aren't where the gateway experience would take you. So that's just my thoughts after now doing 13 of these and finally getting to specific out-of-body exercises, and not even them. It's the perception of awareness outside of you. I'll be doing it again.